Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are here inside consulting group to discuss about the details auditing of Lamesley childcare, macro environment, employee retention, and will provide some strategic suggestion for its further improvement and betterment. So first, we need to know which actually the Lamesley childcare is. It's a head based charity and childcare service provider, which actually provide five breakfast clubs, five out of school clubs, and one holiday clubs. Apart from that, it provides services to 300 children per day, according to charity record. Moreover, the business model of Lensley is very sensitive to labor cost, staffing, occupancy, and many more. So now here comes the situation analysis. In situation analysis, from the pastel analysis, we found that the political environment is playing a very favorable environment for Lamesley or other childcare organization, as the government has making some policies or already has made some policies with the aim of giving school children parents access to childcare facilities from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. to get access, or also with a startup funding like 289 million pound to help the organization, which actually creates a strategical local demand for Lamesley. But the another thing is that it also creates or intensify competition by attracting the schools, other competitors, private service provider, and academic trusts to access into the market, which can create a intensifying competitive market for the Lamesley. Then, if we go to the economic environment, we see that the childcare industry is structurally a low margin due to the quality of the service depends on the ratio of the staffing. So if you see that the school based charity childcare organizations cost around 88% of the total cost, and also group based like 70%, which seems the major portion of the costing happens on the staffing. And apart from that, if we see the national wage rate for childcare staff organization like group based, it's around 13.02, and for school based is around 19.43 pound, which seems that it's attractive and also manageable. Moreover, the pricing strategy for Lamesley is like 30 pound for full holiday club day, and 1150 pound for after school session, and 6.5 pound for break club, first club, which actually creating a lower margin charges for the all kinds of parents in different income level. And that's making it accessible to the parents. And also the annual cost of 2023 was around 400,000 pound for only for a staff cost. And we can see that the recent inflation in wage rate actually creating a margin constraint for the Lamesley as well, and the moderate pricing is also creating lower margin for the Lamesley at this moment. And if moreover the social environment, we can see that the wrap around childcare and holiday childcare has a great demand for parents working parents. And also it seems that if you see the statistics in early years, for early years there is only 72% of childcare availability, but for school age is only 49%, which is less than the half. So there is a huge demand or market opportunity for Lamesley to enter. And if we see the difference between two region like England and also Northeast, there is a difference of around 20 percent. So which seems that there is they have the great opportunity to grow in new market as well. Apart from that, according to Carom England, it seems that the Lamesley is actually charging 16% below than the require than the other or childcare service provider. So it's making it a very good option for Lamesley to get access to the new market, but with these low charges. But another thing is that we can see Lamesley socialist is inclusion, as Lamesley is currently facing issue providing one-to-one service with children in with same need. So it seems that only 9 out of 100 council got facilities to provide service with around 75% of children in same need. So it seems if Lamesley need to provide one-to-one service. It's become more expensive because it needs a higher staffing ratio. So parents need to ensure that they will make sure the availability of the service in the holiday club as well, which actually provide Lamesley to maintain staff costing and also provide staff allocation in the organization to make the cost available, which will make the one-to-one service more accessible for or manageable for Lamesley. Apart from that, we can see that the technology is not actually peripheral to Lamesley's business model, because its profit depends on the occupancy, then payments, booking, the customer communication, and also other kinds of things. But Lemsi already have implemented some of the technologies in booking, payment, and occupancy areas. But it next step should be like cancellation, forecasting of occupancy, and customer communication log, simple management website, or simple management dashboard, to make it more accessible, or also more easy for staff to understand regarding their staff duration, and also which can reduce the staff cost and other cost, and staff time recovery will be ensured, and better yield management will be possible by implementing those technology. Moreover, from the perspective of environment, it doesn't mean refer to green activities or sustainability action. In case of Lamesley, actually reflects the geographical structural facilities or advantages. Lamesley, for its business purpose, it has to actually depend on the third parties spaces, like their partners schools, church, and other partners organization. So in case we can see that according to the statistics, there is a demand fall rate for primary school places, like around 6 to 7%, which seems it's a 4% increase in the fall of demand rate, which will allow Lamesley to get access or acquire more places to provide services. But another thing is that the in primary school, there are some empty places or empty primary places actually appearing in recent time, because of the reduction in the number of pupil in the in the school, which actually creating a constraint for the Lamesley's, because it is expected that there will be 1% drop in the pupil in the total number of pupil in primary school by 2030, which can actually impact the Lamesley's morning breakfast service, and also after school care. So in such case, Lamesley actually can act with school in such a way, so that the school think as a partner for the growth instead of replacement tenant. So that in such case, Lamesley space opportunity is increasing to gain more spaces for their operation, but which also create an volatility in school or state decision to continue the school, in case of continuing the school, or the closing down it, because of the financial and other cost related issues. Then we are moving towards legal perspective of the pestle analysis. We see the Lamesley actually governed by Ofsted and EYFS, so which actually ensured staff staff stability, then staff retention, and also quality of service, and child care resources. So in case of legal perspective, Lamesley actually in inspection in the Saint Andrew Church, the Lamesley in case of Lamesley, Ofsted found that among 10 employees, 6 were qualified up to in level 3, but 4 were unqualified, which means that 60% of the staff actually are qualified. But according to the national records, we can see that 79% of the staff usually get level 3 qualification or have level 3 qualification in other childcare organizations. So there will be some quality assurance risks or also compliance risks regarding Lamesley if Lamesley over we use their unqualified staff without supervision. So Lamesley can do training or provide support to the unqualified staffs to get a level 2 or 3 qualification. Now I am requesting my next group member to continue the presentation. Thank you.
Now, I will be talking about the SWOT analysis of Lamesley childcare, focusing on its internal and external environment. Starting with strengths, Lamesley Childcare has a strong position in the local market, serving around 230 to 300 children per day and supporting over 485 families, which reflect consistent demand. The organization also has strong capacity, offering around 750 breakfast and 850 after-school places quickly, demonstrating its ability to scale services. In addition, it has a strong Ofsted rating and high levels of parent trust, which are critical in childcare. Finally, Lamsley offers free childcare for staff work approximately 3,300 to 3,500 per year, which supports staff retention. So, however, there are several weaknesses. The most significant issues is the cost structure, with 86% of costs linked to staffing, making the organization highly sensitive to wage increase. This is reflected in the £18,678 deficit into 2023, alongside wage cost of 3,399,315 pounds. The deficit occur because operating costs increase are faster than income, despite rising demand. This was mainly driven by higher staff costs, rising expenses such as rent and utility, and removal of COVID-related financial support. There are also internal workforce challenges, including limited communication, lack of progression, and insufficient working hours, which may affect staff retention. So, in terms of opportunity, there is strong growth potential, which 72% of areas have sufficient early years childcare, only 49% have sufficient school age childcare, and this drops to 30% in the Northeast, indicating a clear gap in provision. Government policy promoting grab around childcare from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. further supports expansion opportunities. Next slide, please. However, there are also threats. Raising wage costs increasing from 11.44 to 12.71 pound place pressure on finances. There are also staffing challenges with turnover rate of 16% in group-based settings and 8% in school-based settings. In addition, competition from school and large providers is increasing. Conclusion, Lamsey operates in a high demand market with strong growth potential, but its main challenge is managing rising costs and workforce pressure to maintain financial sustainability. So that's my part.
Hello everyone, I'm Tanvir Hassan and I'll be presenting the challenges faced by childcare services, especially looking at workforce instability, why it happens and what we can do about it. Overview of workforce challenges. The childcare sector is dealing with a systematic workforce problem. It's an industry that depends heavily on low-paid, labor-intensive roles, which makes sustaining a stable and motivated workforce incredibly difficult. To put this into perspective, staff costs account for around 86% of total operation costs, and according to the Department of Education in 2024, the turnover is a real issue: 16% in group-based settings and 8% in school-based ones. Moving on, as you can see from the slide, it illustrates just how significant those step cost and turnover figures are. When the vast majority of your budget goes on people, any instability in that workforce has an outside impact on whole organization. Moving on, uh, the key drivers of dissatisfaction. So, what's driving people to leave? There are two broad categories. First, economic and structural factors, like pay in early years is around 29% lower than the UK median, and according to FER research from 2025. And as the national living wage rises, that cost pressure intensifies. So the workplace issues have some other issues like poor internal communication and staff sometimes don't get to uh, voice their opinions, so they might feel excluded, and insufficient working hours also contribute to staff dissatisfaction. Next slide, please. You can see this chart makes the pay gap starkly clear. When you are earning nearly a third less than the national median, it's very hard to attract and retain the kind of talent the sector actually needs. Moving on, the job demands and resources. A useful lens for understanding this is the job demands resources model. On the demand side, the childcare workers face significant emotional labor, safeguarding responsibilities, heavy workloads, and staff shortages. On the resources side, the thing that buffer those demands, we are talking about training and CPD, supportive leadership, and staff benefits. The problem is that many settings, the demands far outweigh the resources available. Moving on. So why recruit unqualified staff? Given all of these, why do providers end up doing that? Simply put, they often have no choice. With costs already at 86% of total spend, unqualified staff are cheaper. And there's a chronic shortage of qualified practitioners. High turnover creates urgent vacancies that can't wait. So, and there's also rural and underserved areas where qualified hiring is sometimes the only realistic options they have. And because sector pay is so low, fewer people bother pursuing qualifications in the first place, which shrinks the talent pipeline even further. Next, please. So, how to solve it? There are many concrete steps that can address this. First, subsidize or fully fund level 3 qualifications for existing unqualified staff through apprenticeship routes. Second, introduce government-backed pay uplifts tied to qualification level. These would both attract and retain qualified workers. Third, build clear internal progression pathway, giving unqualified staff a realistic 24 to 20, 12 to 24-month routes to qualify. Fourth, fair unqualified staff with senior practitioners for on-the-job development. And finally, make retention of qualified workers a strategic priority, which may lead to solve the issue more efficiently. And that's all from me. I'd like to ask my next group mate to present his part. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tarif bin Jahangir. I am talking about some recommendation. Um, on this slide, I will walk you through the six key recommendations for Lamesley childcare and how they help to improve both staff experience and long-term sustainability. So, starting with the first one, we recommend making the total reward package more visible. At that moment, Lemsley already offers valuable benefits like free childcare, paid training, and well-being support. But these are not always clearly communicated. So the idea here is simple. If staff and potential recruits fully understand the real value of these whole benefits, it can make the organization much more attractive, even in a low-pay sector. The second recommendation, please. The second recommendation we are recommending is to create a clearer career progression pathway. Right now, progression can feel a bit unclear, which can reduce some motivation and lead people to leave the sector. So, by introducing a structured pathway from play worker to senior roles and eventually into management, staff can actually see a future within the organization, and that's the really important for retention. Moving on to the next slide, this is the third recommendation that all four that focuses on working hour security. In childcare, inconsistent hours can create stress and instability for staff. So we suggest introducing things like guaranteed hours and also a cross-site relief bank, which means having trained staff who can move between sites when needed. This improves flexibility for the organization, but also gives staff more financial stability and predictability. The fourth recommendation is all about improving communication and involving staff more into the decision. This is really about culture. When staff feel heard, supported, and involved, they are much more likely to stay and also perform better. So, simple actions like regular one to ones, staff forums, and clearer feedback systems can make a big difference to both moral and service quality. The fifth recommendation looks at optimizing the holiday club offer. Holiday clubs are actually have a strong income potential, but this isn't always fully maximized. So the main idea here is to improve occupancy rates and introduce tiered pricing. For example, charging a bit more for enrichment activities while still keeping the core services affordable for families. So it's all about balancing financial stability with some accessibility. And finally, our sixth recommendation is to develop a scent inclusion pathway. At the moment, support for children with additional needs can be inconsistent. So, by creating a more structured approach with clear responsibilities, staff training, and individual support plans, Lemsley can provide a much more inclusive and reliable service. And this also opens up for opportunities for additional funding and strengthens the reputation as an inclusive provider. So overall, our these six recommendations are all connected to each other. They aim to improve staff retention, enhance service quality, and ultimately build a more sustainable and resilient organization. So the main question is how we implement this recommendation. So I would like to requesting my fellow team member for uh, explain the implementation part. Thank you.
Thank you, Tarif, for letting us know about the recommendation. And now I'm here to present to you with a more actionable plan of gathering all the recommendation in one place. Next slide, please. And let's look at the implementation plan here. As we can see, there are three different phases, and they all have three different time frames in terms of implementation. So in phase one is all about quick wins, increasing communication, and making sure there's a constant reward setup. And looking at the phase two, it is going to be conducting for 3 to 6 months. And here we'll be mostly looking at the most valuable pilot changes, giving employees hours and operations as well. And looking at phase three, we can see it is going to be conducted for 6 to 12 months, and is going to be more of scaling the business and embedding a new system like Send into the for progression. And looking at our key objectives, our most valuable key objectives are to lower the turnover rates of employees, make sure we have higher profitability, and also we have a sustainable growth system where we can implement new expansions like Send. Moving on to the first priority, moving on the first implementation, our first priority is to formalize the total reward proposition for 0 to 3 months period. And in this period, we're going to be needing investments of 1,000 to 5,000 as an annual basis. And here mostly we'll be calculating our employee reward values, how can they provide us with values, and update the recruitment branding and monthly recognition scheme, and etc. etc. Moving on to the second priority, which is the career progression pathway. Here we'll be ensuring in a 3 months to 6 months period that our employees have a clear ladder up the system where they can be promotion to they can be going on a promotion basis to the top management, and also assign new staff members who are moving up the ranks, and to make sure that we have a clear pipeline in the system to provide fill the gap. Moving on to the third priority, is to ensure that all our employees that are craving hours and are craving secure hours are getting the hours they need, and also making it much more flexible for them to ensure their presence at the moment. Moving on to the fourth priority, which is a communication reset, which is much more focused into building an engagement and a culture into the system, or where the employees will be conducting surveys and feedbacks in everyday basis, and also making sure that all the opinions of the employees matter, following a you said we did culture in the process. Moving on to the fifth priority, our priority, this one is all about engaging more people into the holiday club, and ensuring that we improve our occupancy, we improve our revenues, and we also add on activities for people who want more activities into the holidays. And also the main goal for this is to increase profitability without losing accessibility in the process. And moving on to the last priority, which is a priority for specialized educational needs for children with disabilities. So this is a process which will need a much more dedicated and training of the staff to deal with different kind of situations, as well as a stronger planning of their embetterment into the future with their families. So our goal for this is to expand this, and not only expand but also be sustainable in the longer run. So moving on, as we look into our key strategic KPIs, our main focus will be on staff turnovers, to decrease the staff turnovers in this 1 year of period, and also increase vacancy by 20% at end of the year, and of course includes holiday club occupancy, staff engagement, and as well as ensure that we not only have a system that can endure a new process like send participation, but also through the send participation we can grow as well. So that's it. Saying at last, in conclusion, that Lamesley Childcare is not a dying company. It's not dying, but it has tremendous potential into the future, where it can create much more value to its employees and its customers and children as well. So thank you.